Okay guys, so tonight's homework's pretty short. We are talking about the last part of our proficiency and how to achieve expert and get that A that everyone so covets. And we're going to be talking about how to identify tone and explain how it helps create the feeling of suspense. So at the end of this tutorial, you'll understand the expectations for the reader's response paragraph on tone and its support of suspense. So, first of all, in remembering our notes from Concept 1, tone is the writer's attitude towards the material, and or towards the readers that are looking at it. Sorry, I had to read that another just a little bit. So you'll notice that tone can be identified by use of talking about different emotions and feelings that you might get from the actual story itself. So not only are you identifying an emotion or a feeling that you're picking up that's implicitly listed in the story, but you also should be applying that to the attitude or idea that is developing within the story. So the definition of suspense, because all of this unit is titled the Suspense Unit, and we're looking at all of these stories by Edgar Allan Poe as being suspense stories. So the actual first definition for the word suspense is just a state of feeling of excited or anxious uncertainty about what is about to happen. Ooh, sorry, that is my computer beeping at me, telling me that class is about to start. Sorry about that. Okay, and then also, just in reference to the literature we're reading, suspense literature is a type of fiction that gets you excited in expectation or uncertainty about what's going to happen. So it actually is actually both identified as like the feeling itself for the individual as well as a piece of fiction. So really be thinking about, and I'm asking you to write and answer this question. We're going to talk about it tomorrow in class, but how is tone and suspense connected? In what way can we see their connection? So pause the video real quick and write down a sentence or two on that answer for me, please, and then come back to me. Okay, so how are we going to actually write this paragraph? So remember that tone refers to the author's attitude, so you should be able to label what the tone is for that given piece and the ideas or attitudes that are being expressed. So you should have a word bank of tone style words from our first concept video that you can turn to try and grab some different ideas and things. But you also should be able to look at that word bank on the first page of your proficiency and start to see hopefully a pattern developing within those 10 suspense words or more that you're asked to find, focusing on word choice. So in the Raven, you see words like unmerciful, disaster, despair, unhappy, etc. And you can see an overall feeling start to emerge when applied to the attitude and idea of the piece itself. So being able to find that and label it is important. So steps to actually writing the paragraph. So you need to use academic language. So start out the paragraph similar to, but don't word for word every single time do this, but an idea would be to say something like the author's tone in The Raven is, and again academic language using tone and identifying the story that you're looking at, but then filling in the blank on what you're thinking. And just explaining what is happening in that story that leads you to that answer. How and why the word choice, the connotation, the figurative meaning gives you this impression. So kind of flipping back to the front side of your proficiency, going over those quotes and pieces that you've already kind of explained and applying that to this last paragraph would be helpful. Select a quote that helps support your claim. So don't forget to label that quote with the citation too. A lot of you forgot to do that on our last literature proficiency. And try to also integrate it with the rest of the paragraph seamlessly. It should fit within the context of the paragraph that you're writing. Think about the qualifier that we walked through for the Raven in class. You can use that on the test as well to see how we put that together. Alright, so you're finished. Now hopefully you understand some of the expectations for this paragraph. Don't forget to fill in the digital whisk, and we'll talk about some of the concepts we discussed in class tomorrow, especially that question, how is tone and suspense connected? Okay guys, thanks. I'll see you tomorrow.